Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today as I show you how to solve iteration 23 by DEDWood Crafts. There is a lot more to this box than meets the eye. Can't wait to show you all the little mechanisms and tricks that are in it. But this box, it continues on the Walter saga that was first started with Angry Walter, which, for those who don't know, is an angry robot that has waged war against humanity. After Angry Walter came Walter's radio, and this is the third and latest in the Walter saga. So included is this background story. I'm not going to read all of this, but just summarize the background to say that the Walter's AI allowed them to defeat the weapons the human resistance created or utilized. And so the humans looked at weapons from the 19th and 20th century to hopefully defeat Walter's. Iteration after iteration failed until they came to the 23rd iteration, which met with success against the Walters. So what the humans did is they broke down the weapon into different parts and put them into this handheld device that they thought would confuse the Walters, but something that the humans would be able to open the box, assemble the weapon, and defeat the robot army. So I will read the instruction card for you. Basically it says, the goal is to find the components and assemble them. No external tools, no striking, no force necessary, no spinning necessary, no whining or crying unless necessary. Discovered prize components may not be used as tools to solve the puzzle. Place the 4 found prizes in the appropriate box and assemble. So you'll see here the 4 different prizes that we're going to be uncovering as we go throughout the box, some of which are going to be used to create that weapon. So to give you just a brief overview of the puzzle, you'll see that there is a pinhole opening right here. This top does slide open, but it only slides open so far. That is caught on something, but we do see a little plastic peg opening here. Underneath, nothing here. But if we do slide out that top tray, as I mentioned, we see that there is this wooden piece here that we can kind of move out, but it is stuck as well. And then on this side, there is this button right here that pushes in. Now, when you push this button in, that will release the white peg right here, as you can see. But I'm going to show you how we can remove this lid, find the tools to create the weapon, and solve iteration 23. So as with most boxes by DEDWood Crafts, the position, how you rotate this box matters with what mechanisms are released. But to start off, I'm going to have the white peg face me, and I'm going to angle it so it's facing me but at a downward angle, and press in on that button here. What that's going to do is it's going to lock that white peg. It's going to move it to the right and lock it in a new place. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it to the other side, and I'm going to tilt it towards me just a little bit, and I'm going to press down on this top. I neglected to say that this does, in addition to moving outward, it also moves. You can press it down. But I'm going to tilt the box to me a little bit, press down on that lid, and press that button. All right, so what that just did is it locks. You'll see this does not open anymore. And when I put it in the horizontal position and try it again, that releases a metal pin, which I can access by pushing in on this initial button. So when I turn this upside down, I'm going to see the white peg that we initially saw earlier, but there is also a little metal pin that was released. I'm going to show you how we access this metal pin. But with this lid slid open, we see that there's this little white piece underneath. We can use this metal pin to insert, and when we press down on this, that will allow us to slide the lid off. And there is this white dowel with this magnet on top. Basically, it's just the polarizing magnets repelled one another, so the magnet just sit in place like that, and you press down on the pin to allow the lid to slide off. But looking at the underside of the lid, we see a couple pieces of wood. Now this pin was initially housed right underneath here like that. And when we move the box in a different position, we use that white peg to move this back so we could then retrieve that metal pin. This does come out, as does the other wooden piece that has the DEDWood logo on it. So we're not going to need the lid anymore. We're just going to put that aside. But on the other underside of this, we see a couple pieces of coil or string or whatever you want to call it, which is one of the tools or one of the prizes that we're looking at. looking for. So just going to put that there, and we've got 2 pieces of wood. We'll put that with the wooden pieces, and let's look at what we have in the box itself. So there's a couple different spots for things to go. We see there's a hole here. We have a piece here, kind of moves underneath. This is the spot where that white peg would come out, because if we just push the button in, it's going to fall down and come out. But just want to show you what we did the first step when we tilted the box down towards us and pressed in on the button, where we moved the white peg to and held that in place, just to show you how that mechanism worked. All right, also something to note of, there's a little hole right down here that goes all the way to this piece, and there's another hole down here that the metal pin can also fit in. So I'm going to show you next what I thought was the most difficult move of this puzzle that I needed a little help with myself, and that's we're going to put the metal pin in right here. See how that kind of fits in, and when you press that in, you can hear something is moving. Now what's actually happening is there's a wooden panel facing this direction, which moves the panel down. But what we want to do is we want to have the box face this way, and we want to push the metal pin, and we want to push the side button in almost at the same time. So when you do that fast enough, and again, it might take a little practice of getting that, because it is a tricky movement, but you'll see that circular cutout is now in between those 2 circles. You can't fit that white peg in it anymore. And the button is partially stuck, but what we need to do next is we need to remove this wooden piece. There's a magnet underneath it, and it's kind of a trick move that you'll use to remove it. All that you're going to do is put the box upside down and gently tap on the side of the box. That removes this from coming out. Doesn't take a lot of force at all, but just enough to jostle the magnet that is under there. And when you do that, you see where this wooden piece was housed, but to the right there's a little gap that houses another piece. So I'm just going to get that out for us, and here we go. So this has got one larger hole on the right hand side and 2 smaller holes on the left side, which matches the prize that we're looking at right here. So I'm just going to start to assemble this weapon right now. You can kind of maybe guess what you think it will be, but we're going to put one of these lines in one of the small holes like that, and we'll put the other in as well. Okay, we'll put that down and we'll come back to it later. Okay, so what we're going to do for the next one is we're going to use this white dowel piece, and we're going to put it inside the box. We're going to face it this way, and in the recess where this piece was housed, we're going to push the white dowel into it and realize that that is also a button, as you can hear. And when you press that in and slide the puzzle or rotate the puzzle down, you'll see that this compartment opened up. So it's another one that is just rotationally based, depending on which direction the box is in. But when we push it or turn it to the left and down, this piece is revealed rather. And that is this little T piece. Show you what that looks like here. And so we see that this little T piece is actually a plunger that will fit into our box right here. And it actually does press down. Okay, so we've assembled most of the weapon. As you may have guessed, what we're actually assembling is a detonator used to detonate TNT explosives. So all that we need to find next is where that TNT is located. And for that, we are going to use the white dowel again. I didn't say earlier, but there is a little hole through the top of it, which this metal pin will fit through. And what we're going to do is we're going to place the white dowel back in the initial hole that it was in, this time upside down with the magnet facing up. Okay, so and then we're just going to fish the pin through the dowel so that will hold in place. All right, but once we get that in place, you'll see that we cannot remove this dowel anymore. It's in place with that pin that's through it. What we're going to do this time is we are going to face the puzzle or the box towards you, and we're going to twist the white dowel. And what that's going to do is it's going to release a false bottom underneath this hole. It doesn't look like there's anything there. There's no button element, but when you turn this the right direction, that is going to, again, bring another object into view. But just to show you what that looks like, we'll now see this piece that was moved into position. And that piece is our little bit of TNT, which on one end does have a little hole on it. So the two pieces of wire can be placed inside of it. So there we have it. The TNT is at the end of the wire, and this is what the humans would use in their resistance against the Walter robots. So a lot of cool things going on inside this box. Thank you so much for joining in. Until next time.